Uh, good, good, good afternoon. The screen isn't going to quite pick this up, so I might. How can I? Is that coming through clearly? I can't really. How can I figure this out? Oh no, I'll stick it on. I'll stick it on there. Actually, maybe I'll stick it like that. Sorry, we're having some technical difficulties. There we go. There we are. This is the inaugural broadcast today of the ABC, the Australian Broadcasting Community of Independent Broadcasters, and this is basically a demand for the ABC to please cease and desist using these three letters, A, indicating, in your case, Australian, and the next letter, broadcasting, you got that right, and then corporation. This is the Australian Broadcasting Community. So this is a independent, volunteer, grassroots, democratic broadcasting community. And as of 2/28 on December the 16th, 2025, this is our inaugural broadcast and an invitation for any of the Australian amateur broadcasters to contribute under our banner, which is ABC. It's the first three letters of the alphabet in the English language. And so again, the utilisation of these three letters in combination here by two groups, a corporation that has been used by an internationally recognised terrorist organisation as their propaganda broadcasting facility that has been hijacked from the Australian people. So look, our desire in the long run is to reclaim the property that is currently being held illegally by the Australian Labor Party, and we're going to reutilise that infrastructure so that Australian broadcasting community members can freely be allowed to broadcast a bipartisan, completely across the spectrum, rainbow, unicorn broadcasting service, so that we can get a full picture of the real situation of the country. This is a vital piece of infrastructure here that has been commandeered by this terrorist organisation. So I'll put here now, it's going to take us some time to get the graphics up, but the Australian Labor Party here, official international terror organisation. And it's going to take a little bit of time because they've actually used their commandeered infrastructure, or the commandeered infrastructure of the ABC, to distribute terrorist propaganda to you all. Okay, so if you want to do your own research, I instruct that you go and look for yourself in whatever receptacle, whether it's a public library or whether it's the old Google. If you want to give it a little Google, you could Google what terrorist propaganda would look like. And I would say it would look a lot like what this current Anthony Albanese-led official international terrorist group, otherwise formerly known as the Australian Labor Party, again, indicated by three letters of the English alphabet, and it's quite often the first three letters that you learn in a public education system. So this is complete indoctrination here. From the earliest onset of life, you are told your ABCs, and then this association with ABC has been falsely presented as the true opinion of the Australian people, which it just clearly isn't. And we've been very patient, but here at the Australian broadcasting community, all of us have decided to get on board, use the old method. It might look a bit amateurish, you know what I mean? It might look a bit to the conditioned mind of the victims of this propaganda. This does probably look a little bit low budget. But considering this is a voluntary broadcasting, I believe I'd be up there in the Guinness Book of Records for the most amount of volunteer broadcasting in a wartime situation that has ever occurred in this country. So I'm pretty proud of it. You know what I mean? I'm an innovative, strappy young lady or man, depends on who I need to appeal to in order to do the very important broadcasting. If you need to see me as a woman, you should see me as a woman. If you need to see me as a man, you should see me as a man. And if you need to see me as a news person, you should do that as well. Because look, I'm doing all the things. I'm doing all the things, and this is the Australian broadcasting community here, the first inaugural broadcast in order to appropriately inform the Australian people that its government is illegitimate and that it has been classed as an official international terrorist organisation. And their leader, Anthony Albanese, is now accused of hostage taking. He's got all of you hostage, including all of your children in public schools, all the patients in public hospitals, and all the prisoners in public prisons and private prisons. Everybody waiting to go to court. This is a complete structural breakdown of the core elements that our democracy is based on. You'll have to excuse this. They don't make glue quite like they used to. And as we are a volunteer broadcasting community, as you can see, the heat in this studio and the subpar post-it notes, the subpar sticky notes, we are going to endeavour to remove all commercial promotion from this community-based broadcasting system. And so they're sticky notes, because obviously the word I just said before is a brand name. Oh, there it goes. It's a brand name of sticky notes, and this obviously is just a generic sticky note, a little bit like your Prime Minister is a generic politician that has been utilised as the mouthpiece for this, oh God, it's sweaty in here, for this officially internationally recognised terrorist organisation. Now, this doesn't mean that all Australian Labor Party's currently members are terrorists. It means that they have an opportunity now to contribute to Australia by outing the worst of the worst and bringing this all to a beautiful conclusion. And you'll notice that although there is some military, there's some military whispers and some gestures of that we are indeed there. This isn't a military operation. This is an Australian broadcasting community presentation. But I have been assured that the military is there to stand guard to make sure that this transition of power is relatively calm and non-violent. Okay, so basically we're going to bring in from all corners of Australia right now, all the amateur, and look, it could stand for amateur, because maybe this is like a global movement, right? Right now it's a very organised Australian community-based broadcasting association, but this could stand for amateur broadcasting community of the world, global. Oh, shit. The global, I know I'm getting a little bit too big for my boots, but look at it. It's a global, like my pen's run out. Oh, shit. These are the things, these things are set to test us. That's what, I heard an old lady once say, let's take the blue pen out and let's write the global, oh my good golly gosh. And I don't even have any I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to give it a little fold. I'm just going to crease the edge there, place it on the top there, and hope that with a little bit of goodwill, and some hopes and prayers, that little logo is going to stay on the top there. Well, it's going to even flap around. Look, it looks like it's animated now. And that global should, of course, be on the top. So it's the Global ABC. It's the Global Amateur Broadcasting Community. And we'd all quite like for everybody to get involved in all the communication that is being held back by this totalitarian terrorist organisation, in Australia at least, being referred to as the Australian Labor Party. Okay, it's a little bit like, imagine we're in a previous era and it is Christmas season and the Christmas cards are being delivered, and people are sending best wishes, because Christmas cards were an amateur broadcasting community approach. You would broadcast Christmas cards, and you would send a little message, and then everyone would know that you were thinking of them at Christmas. And Anthony Albanese, the naughty Grinch, has stolen up all the Christmas cards and has prevented all the children from receiving or from giving Christmas cards. And that's very un-Christmassy. So with a little bit of help from Santa, the Global ABC, has decided to open up the letters to Santa Claus Society for open communication and open dialogue in a time of need. I'm just saying I had something in my teeth. Gross. I did. Oh, this is embarrassing, isn't it? It's always on the inaugural presentation of a global ABC, a global amateur broadcasting corporation, a global amateur broadcasting community, that you might have something stuck in your teeth. Oh dear. So, we're going to, from all corners of the earth and from all corners of Australia, the amateur broadcasting community is going to surveil, very much like your Prime Minister or the previous, or the terrorist leader has hoped to surveil all your children whilst taping their mouths up with gaffer tape, a little bit like those illegal tobacco people that burnt down Friendly Geordies. Obviously, Friendly Geordie is an amateur broadcasting journalist, and he is part of the Global ABC, the Global Amateur Broadcasting Community. And there's been all types of hideous things where they did lots of naughty things with organised crime. And in fact, their version of the ABC actually put to the top of the pile a very naughty terrorist person themselves, and a very naughty organised criminal. So it's a joint community-based, not communist-based. Okay, everyone in the amateur broadcasting community does hope to, capitalise their venture in an independent fashion. We have absolutely no connection with each other. We're from all corners. This is all different views on here. I've said that basically all the hospitals should be shut down immediately, and some people are saying that things about elves on the shelves. But it doesn't matter. We're all going to come together, and we're all going to film the individual known as Anthony Albanese and all his party members at all times until they surrender and end this siege on the Australian people that is now 4 years. Doesn't it just fly by? Doesn't it just fly by? Especially when you got things like Temu and Netflix and Uber Eats and all the things. I don't know if you can see that, but that's a giant 4. No, you can't see it at all. It's barely even visible. But 4 years. Oh, I know what I'll do. Oh, I didn't even think about this. I learnt this trick from Miley Cyrus. I'll just touch up the lippy. Oh. That's better, isn't it? Yeah, 4 years of terror-filled fucking terrorist activity on Australian soil, masterminded by the Australian Labor Party Prime Minister, leader, whatever you want to call him, Anthony Albanese. 4 years is far too long to allow such a terrorist thing to go on. And I'm happy to tell you all that I can give this the global ABC kiss of approval. It's been given the kiss of approval, and that means it's official. We don't use things like QR codes and things like that. We just give an old little fashioned little kissy lips on the whiteboard, and everybody now knows that it's official. It's global ABC official, which means that you can put money down on it. You can bet your house that the global ABC is going to get this over the line, and then all the Christmas cards will be able to be sent. All the Christmas carols will be able to be sung, and all the children will have the tape taken off their mouths. Because we do not put up with that type of behaviour in Australia. We do not cover our children's mouths or their faces at all. No, 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 no. It doesn't matter what the official international terrorist organisation leader has said to you all. We don't do that here. 4 years of terrorism is too long. If this ever comes up again, let's make it last at the most 4 minutes, right? So the amount of acceptable terrorist activity, including nefarious broadcasting of absolute terrifying, like, you're going to die, grandma, get the jab, scared, run, hide, hospitals, masks, jabs, fucking mandates, bullshit mandates. We should have known that it was naughty when they said mandates. It wasn't woman dates, was it? It was mandates. And that fucking says everything that I could fucking hope to say about this man, Anthony Albanese, and his mandates and all his members' mandates. Look at that, my members. I've got male member mandate syndrome. Oh, well, isn't that a tale as old as time for all the lady folk out there? I think you know what I'm talking about. Right. So 4 minutes is the acceptable amount of terrorist activity before those people are shot in the head in this country of Australia. Not 4 years. And if we had an appropriate Australian broadcasting community level approach, it might have lasted maybe 4 days. But it lasted 4 years. And I think that really says a lot. I think it says more than you'd think. Yeah? I think it's something we should all have a really good hard think about. I think we should all look in the mirror and take a really good hard look at ourselves as Australian people. You know, and really ask the questions. Why did this take 4 years? Who was it? Who was it? Who was it was responsible for this lasting 4 years? They said 2 weeks, not 4 years. They said 2 weeks to flatten the curve, and the curve went fucking like that. The curve, do you know what the curve looks like? I'll fucking show you what the curve looks like, and then I'll end this because I'm getting a little bit flustered. The curve, flatten the curve of 2 weeks. Well, their fucking curve at the ALP looked like a giant fucking penis. I'll tell you what, a big erect penis. Fucking that's this type of masculine fucking tyrannical fucking Islamic bullshit that's spread all around with a penis as their fucking logo. Look at that. The Australian Labor penis. Oh, for fuck's sake. This is what they talk about. You let one little deviant in and the whole place goes to shit. I can tell you what. So I think, look, I've done pretty good. I might next time get the entire Faber-Castell crayon set out, and then maybe I can do lots of little flowers and drawings so we can all understand the basics of communication, of healthy democracy, and all the things. And if I had a tub of that democracy sauce, I'd squirt it all over the top of it as well, just to really tell that Anthony Albanese what I fucking think of him. Anyway, I'm going to leave that there. Can you see it now? There we go. So now you all know. I'll cheekily put it just there. I'll pull my top down a little bit. Because I'm an Australian woman. I'm not a Middle Eastern woman, so I don't mind getting the babs out to make a point. You know what I mean? If Pauline Hanson has taught me one thing in this country, it's that, well, we'll just not worry about it. That sometimes you've got to get the girls out in order to make a point. You know, if you've got to drape yourself over a fucking Sandman and give that little glint into the fucking camera lens. And I think it's important to, when we watch Pauline Hanson's moment right now where she takes power over this country and, you know, reunifies us as one nation, one true nation, beautiful multicultural nation, multi-religious, multi-age group, multi-gender presentation community of Australians. I think it's important to see Pauline as that young, beautiful little fucking redhead minx draped over that fucking Sandman. I think that's the important fucking message that we need to understand. And God knows that in this day and age, and especially down at that Bondi Beach, that attire she was wearing would almost be considered, you know, very discreet, wouldn't it? A bit like my attire this afternoon here, very discreet. Look at it. There's barely any skin showing. This is what a teacher should look like, except they should... Anyway, I'm not going to get into the details, but it's important to see at the scene of the crime that had lots of bums, I'm guessing, bouncing around with little G-strings. Do you know that you used to have to be completely covered to go to that beach? In our culture. So we've slowly but surely acclimatized to the environment because it's too hot. Okay. So now Pauline is a more senior representative of the women of Australia, and so of course now she dresses appropriately for her age and her position in the country. But it's very important to view her in this moment as a very young, beautiful, red-headed, you know, voluptuous beauty queen that she was when she entered this whole debacle. And I think if it's taken 4 years for a terrorist organisation to be exposed and stopped in this country, that's one thing. But the fact that it's taken 40 years for a woman of such concentrated effort and dedication and loyalty and duty shown to the Australian people as Pauline Hanson to be dragged through the bullshit that she's been dragged, I think that is very telling of this country now. So if you are a little, you know, beach babe with your little G-string hitched right up around your fucking tits and your little nushy spot fucking open for the entire world to see, perhaps you should take a leaf out of Pauline's book and you should find the nearest Sandman and drape yourself over it and take a little shot and say, I love Pauline on your tits, and get your tits out like Abby Chatfield always is, right? That's the way to do it. If you want to walk around on a beach with your bum out, all you've got to do is get a bit of lippy, write I love Pauline on your tits, and take a selfie and put it on social media with your tits out that says, I'm for Pauline. Isn't that a postcard to send to all those people that want to wrap all their women up in bullshit? The young women of this country really need to learn who their forebears are, who the pioneers of Australian feminist culture are. You know, not this Islamic boys are girls, yes? And I'll admit that I'm actually a boy. I've got a penis. If I whop that out, none of this would all be censored, right? But sometimes it takes a girl with a penis to come and point the fucking finger at other people with penises, the people that the Australian Labor Penis Society that has done 4 years of terror on the Australian people, and it takes a woman with a penis, to bring that to the light, to convince all the beautiful young women of the country, of age, of course. Don't do this if you're underage, and you shouldn't be there now if you're under 16. You know, this is a temporary little whatever. Hopefully one day you'll be allowed back in or whatever, but you shouldn't really be seeing any of this anyway. But all you got to do is write, I'm for Pauline on your tits, selfie that, fucking put it in the fucking face of Albo, and where he's been waving his actually very small penis in everyone's face and saying, look at my small penis. Oh my God, I'm an Australian Labor penis. You go and fucking put your tits in his face and say, I'm for Pauline. Okie dokie. Well, seems like a woman's work is almost done here. I might just read I'm going to randomly pick a page out of this Robinson Crusoe book, which is about a beach that didn't have anyone killed on it. And it's just one little sentence. If I had any blood in my body that did not fly up into my face at that word, it was hindered by some stop in the vessels appointed by nature to prevent it, for it to put me in the greatest disorder and confusion imaginable, nor was it possible for me to conceal it. So, but the old man easily perceived it. Oh, isn't that a little bit of an enigmatic, like enigma, coded little bit of secret fucking society, fucking Illuminati party, fucking riddle me this, Simon Says, fucking tongue-twisting gobbledygook. If anyone understands what that means, I'll be hanging back in class after the class is finished, and I'm happy to answer any of your questions. So, yeah. This is, I guess we're signing off for the holidays now as the global amateur broadcasting community. And it's been such a pleasure to teach you all, I think, this year. You're all really, really beautiful students, yeah? All of you. You're all a beautiful little bunch of fucking whippersnappers. And I really have been so pretty. I said I wasn't going to cry. You've really, really outdone yourselves. And despite all the horrific alcoholism, drug abuse, and economic strife, and gambling addiction, and all the social media addiction of your parents, I think you're a wonderful young bunch of young Australians, and it really makes my heart sing to see you all jumping into this amateur broadcasting community with the enthusiasm that was missing from my generation, and I really can't wait to see what you all make of this wonderful environment for everybody to talk. Okay, well, I'm finished now because I said I wasn't going to cry, but now I'm really crying. So I'll see you later, and I just want you to vote for Pauline. Bye-bye.